We're live.
Good evening and welcome to the November 17th, 2025 council meeting. All members of council are present with the exception of Councilor Bartlett, who sends his regrets. The meeting is being held in person and is also being live streamed on Facebook. I'd like to acknowledge the members of the public that are present. There are none here tonight and on the list listening online. We appreciate the diverse population that we have living in Milton. First order of business, approval of agenda.
I'll move the council approve the agenda as circulated.
Questions? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Motion carried. So I have a proclamation tonight for the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Whereas the International Day of Persons with Disabilities have been commemorated since 1992 to promote action and raise awareness relating to the inclusion of persons with disabilities, and whereas the 2025 theme, amplifying the leadership of persons with disabilities for an inclusive and sustainable future, focuses on the active role people with disabilities play in creating a more sustainable world, emphasizing their leadership and participation in decision-making process that impact their lives and communities. And whereas we all benefit from a society and an economy without barriers to inclusion. When persons with disabilities can participate in every aspect of political, social, economic, and cultural life, it enriches Canada and its economic. The observation of the day aims to promote an understandable of disabilities issues and mobilize support for dignity, rights, and well-being of persons with disabilities. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Gail Smith, on behalf of the town of Middleton, do hereby proclaim December 3rd, 2025 as International Day of Persons with Disabilities in Middleton, and that as the municipality, we can promote the participation of individuals with disabilities in leadership positions. Approval of minutes. Has everybody read the okay. The minutes from September 15th, public hearing, October 20th, council meeting, in camera meeting, the November 3rd, special council, and November 13th, in camera meeting minutes have been circulated. Are there any corrections or anything that anybody noticed that was not correct? Or that should have been added or taken away? No. Dan and John?
All good.
In doing so, the minutes have been approved. Now, is there anything from citizens? I mean, there's nobody here tonight, but,
And I didn't receive anything by email.
okay. New business. 6.1, Committee of the Whole recommendations. A, RFD 047-2025 archery lease agreement.
Thank you, Mayor. This was presented to committee of the whole, so I won't re-present it, but I will sensitize council to one small change that was made earlier today and circulated to you all, and we did update the agenda package on our website. The changes in the RFD and the lease agreement are in red font. So it was noted by our fire chief, Mike Toole, that the corner piece of land on the PID, that the lease agreement is about, contains the fire department's main communications radio and tower site and building, which is insured under our policy. So I did forward off that to our legal counsel to see if any amendments needed to be made to the lease agreement, and he did suggest an amendment under section 1.01, and it just adds the following wording: notwithstanding this definition, excluded from the premises are all lands on the northeast corner of PID 05004510, which house the town of Middleton's communications tower and associated building and infrastructure. So the updated lease agreement is now attached to the RFD, and it's highlighted in red as well. So I did not hear back from the archery club. I did send it to them this morning. They may not have had a chance to check their emails yet. But I don't anticipate that that's going to be an issue because that tower has been there for
Yeah.
years and they know about it and don't use it anyways. But it's still good practice to have it in the lease agreement that it's excluded from the leased lands. And that is all.
Okay. Questions about that? Anybody? RFD 062-2025. Oh, okay. Oh, we need a motion for the lease agreement.
The council approves the mayor and see and go executing the new agreement with Indianapolis East Archery.
Second, okay.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Motion carried. RFD 062-2025 Joint Police Advisory Board.
Thank you, Mayor. This RFD was also presented at committee of the whole, so I won't re-present it. It has not changed from the committee of the whole presentation. There is a recommendation there that I believe is what council's intended route is to go to have our own independent police advisory board. There's some alternatives there as well for council's consideration that suggest that we could maintain the current board and do better coordination with the county of Annapolis. Or staff could go back, be sent back and do more research and bring forward any information that wasn't contained in this RFD. I don't believe there was anything noted at the committee of the whole meeting. And that is all.
Do we need a,
I'll move the council request the Minister of Justice approve the dissolution of the Joint Police Advisory Board currently shared with the municipality of the county of Annapolis, and to authorize the establishment of an independent town of Middleton Police Advisory Board in accordance with the Police Act.
I second that.
discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. RFD 063-2025 appointment list updates for 2026. So,
Thank you, Mayor. This RFD was also presented at committee of the whole. Notably, the major changes are removing a couple members from the appointment list that are no longer working with the county of Annapolis. And approving the appointment list for the upcoming calendar year 2026. I did note in the RFD that the Pool Society would submit a list of names prior to the council meeting. I haven't received that as of yet. But when I do receive it, we can make an amendment to the appointment list at the December council meeting if that is required. Otherwise, the names may just stay the same anyways. So I would suggest the council move forward with the approval of the appointment list, and there's inevitably going to be some changes to it as hopefully we will have a director of finance in place soon. And there's some other changes at Brighter Communities that might require an update in December anyways. So, and that's all. So there's 3 motions associated with this RFD that have to be voted on separately.
I move council, to move Danny Wright as the town's building inspector.
discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried.
I'll move the council remove Dana Olmsted as the town's building inspector.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Hearing none, motion carried. And the third and final one.
I move council approve the appointment list as presented.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. 6.2 RFD 052-2025 Middleton logo change. Communications and event coordinator. Welcome.
So we put out a survey, to the public with some of the updated logos. You should have that in your packages. Are there any questions about any of the logos presented in front of you, or the font styles, or anything of that nature? Like we clarified.
just that, we seem to have moved from a blue, coloration to black. Is that
So I think it's specified in the background of the RFP, I should have, that the font color comes in multiples, that's a standard.
Yeah.
So it would come in white, red, your blue, it's just black for this purpose, so that it shows up on the white paper.
So we get a selection.
Correct, you get the same red coloring that's in our current logo with the scripted font. You would have it in black and you would have it in white.
Well, I only have one thing to say, and I was surprised that we had so many people that
Yeah,
were willing to
Yeah.
have something to say.
absolutely.
I like that very much,
Yeah, and we only have the survey out for a week, so,
really.
but I mean, I try and push getting responses, so.
Wow.
I guess my only question would be, I know it's been there before for a while, but this little leaf thing off the top of the heart.
Yes, that's a great question, because I too recently have been wondering. My only hesitation, I suppose, and I'm not even sure if hesitation is a good word. Our slogan is the heart of the valley, obviously we need a heart. But what I can't get clarification on in any of our documents or from anybody is why it's an apple. And my problem with it being an apple is that Berwick is an apple. And they're the apple capital. Now, that being said, this has been our logo for a significant period of time. Historically, this area as a whole, and the Annapolis Valley as a whole, was a whole apple capital. And in our history of this town being incorporated, there were the fruit growers here.
Yeah.
So that's why.
But if we
And
got,
this is the original heart that was used previous to the font changing.
But on the street signs, it's not an apple.
No, it's just a heart.
Heart.
And I don't know why that would have been done. That was far before me, but I'm guessing it's because it would have been difficult to print out that additional
Okay.
stick and leaf. Yeah,
but now's the time.
Yeah.
If we wanna get rid of it,
Should
and
be
just
something.
be a
Yeah.
heart,
certainly. And you
Now,
can just make it literally a plain heart.
that
matches
little,
their street
yeah, the
sign.
little white shadowy.
Street signs are hard.
Yeah.
Or shiny spot.
Yep.
If you got rid of that and the stem,
Yep, you can
It looks like a
literally,
heart.
100%, you can literally just make it a heart, it makes it very clean, very simple, there's no mistaking it's a heart. If you wanted to take it further than that, you're into, if you really wanted to elaborate on the heart and make it
Have
something more
definition.
complex. The only thing that I would prepare council for that is that suddenly everything has to be changed.
no, exactly, no, and I don't see the need of that.
Yeah.
We don't need valves and chambers and all the inner workings of an actual
Correct.
heart.
Now
That's the extent of
suddenly-
My heart knowledge.
Exactly, now suddenly our street signs are
Right.
outdated,
Yep.
our welcome signs are outdated, which is a whole other can of worms.
I agree entirely.
Yeah.
I
but
didn't
no, yeah.
really notice, when the heart was on its side.
Yep.
I never really
You
noticed,
didn't really pay attention.
well,
to
because it doesn't come off the heart, it actually
Correct.
comes off the script of the M.
Correct,
Now that we've turned it up and
now you
down.
can really see it.
It,
I didn't
and
know.
I said this at conference when we were talking about it
Yeah.
one day, I was like, why does this heart look like an apple? And we
Yeah.
didn't really
Right.
understand it at the time.
Yeah, and truthfully, I don't think anybody will ever get a clear answer as to why it's like that. I think historically, it's an ode to something historic
And,
here,
and it
but.
could very well be,
But if we don't know that history doesn't matter,
It-
right?
Yeah.
It can't be that
Yeah,
significant.
and the only kind of hesitation I have with it having a stem and a leaf is that Berwick's thing is the apple capital.
and that's more reason to differentiate
That's
ourselves.
right.
I
Nothing
agree.
against Berwick out there, Berwick.
Yeah, no.
You're fine
You still
people.
can copy or do anything, but yeah, I think just sticking to a clean, simple
Yeah.
heart.
That would be my recommendation.
It's very versatile and that's a super easy change to make that can be made in about 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's consistent with the signs,
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
but as for the font, and how you want the heart displayed for your official documents. The majority of the public in the survey, preferred the heart in the front of the, font.
Yeah.
And of course, the other thing to note is the logo itself is the heart, not necessarily the font. So that doesn't mean that you can't utilize that heart in a different way for unofficial things like recreation swag or things like that if you want to play with it, or sweaters or our day camp shirts. But in terms of official documents, so all of our letterhead on the website, anything council related, you know, that you would stick to one representation of the heart, whether that would be as the O or in front of the wording, that's council's decision.
And just as you were speaking, I just thought of why we might have the swish and stuff like that on, in terms of it being an actual logo. Very difficult, if near impossible, to claim a generic heart.
It is.
So by
100%.
doing the differentiation, that does make it, I guess, copyrightable, maybe trademarkable is a better word for it. That may be why it was done in the past, and I don't
Yeah.
know if that's a factor.
Yeah.
Sorry, I did just pop in. My mind.
And that's absolutely 100% accurate, and that is something to consider, that if we just get a generic heart, well, they're everywhere, it's not really something that's necessarily unique.
But wouldn't our town label be trademarked?
So,
The slogan is, which is
Slogan.
part of the valley.
yeah,
Okay.
The slogan is,
But,
but like as Gina pointed out, the logo itself is the heart.
yeah,
yeah,
It's not the words,
not
it's the heart.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna talk about changing how the heart looks, which is how it's looked even pre the scripted logo.
yeah,
That heart has been our logo pre that, so it's
Yeah.
pre 20
Oh, I know.
years.
Yeah.
So as Gina mentioned, council could decide tonight to turf the stem and the leaf and the white
yeah.
shiny thing. It would leave it very plain looking as a warning. It would leave
Yeah.
it quite plain looking but clean. And not super unique. We could choose to leave it for now, update our letters and undertake a more comprehensive logo design later on with like a graphic designer, because Gina's not a graphic
Not a
designer.
graphic- And we don't even have the software for me to be able to do
Yeah,
it
do it.
properly, right?
Right.
So,
Like if
yeah,
council wanted to explore putting something inside the heart that was meaningful to the town or adding some definition to the heart somehow,
yeah.
that's
and-
something we
and
would have to do
definition, I mean,
separate.
I can add definition to a heart.
I like that.
I did explore trying today, just because I anticipated this was a conversation that was going to come up. If we had put in, if we almost put the valley inside of the heart, but made it very clean and simple,
Mhm.
it's just difficult to do with the software that's available to us at town hall, but that's up to you.
I like the clean heart myself, I don't think I really don't wanna be talking about this in 6 months.
No.
3 months.
well, my thing is, and I feel badly, but I never even noticed that little white thing in the heart before,
Yeah,
until we just started talking about
well,
it.
often too, like when you see the logo presented to you, it's so small that you don't even
Snarliness of
see
an apple.
the shiny
Yeah.
thing, right? Until it's blown up like that, and suddenly you're like, oh, this is an apple.
So really what we need to decide is whether we're gonna have lowercase or uppercase Iddleton. And whether we're gonna have it bold or not bold.
Yep,
Those are the,
and the placement of the heart
Heart.
well, I think,
and whether you want the heart changed in any way.
Yeah,
So to clarify, the suggested motion in the RFD is not a motion that should be read. We're not sure where council wanted to go with this, so like staff are asking for you to make a decision on those 4 things,
Okay,
basically.
correct,
well, I'm trying.
Yeah.
correct,
Uh,
yes.
Yes, now
Yeah.
the
And
survey.
like I said, like if you today
I
decide,
like that.
we just want a simple heart and we just forget about the stem and the leaf, that's something I can easily remove tomorrow. But if you wanna go down a more complex route, prolonged, it's prolonged.
So-
Heart in the thing, that's
Me too.
Was the heart
Like-
Say, you know,
in the knees.
Yeah.
Yes, the zero.
representation, you can use that.
Yeah, but you said most of the people wanted the heart at the front.
That's a front.
I don't wanna go against
Yeah.
just the residents,
So,
you know,
yeah, are we all in agreement that our heart goes in the front?
Yeah, personally, I think it looks better. And what about town of versus the town of?
I would say, well, it depends.
Our legal name is
Yes.
Town
It's
of
Town
Middleton.
of.
And that solves it.
So that solves
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I think it was the Town of in something we circulated, but I caught it and
Yeah,
asked
we
Gina
were
to
like,
change it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because-
Town of is the legal definition.
Perfect.
So-
And the public seem to prefer lowercase letters instead of uppercase.
It looks better. Yeah.
I kind of preferred the uppercase.
I
but-
don't know.
So
But
did I.
Besides-
And there are few, and then you can see the survey results, there are some questions that were asked in the survey where the difference between voters is very, very small, almost split right down the middle.
Right.
You know, and there are some that were all very far apart.
And almost 25% of the respondents aren't even residents of Middleton.
That's
but
right.
two.
I was just gonna
Yes.
bring that up.
Uh,
Just,
But
Yeah.
personally, I don't think they should have been included.
Take their opinion.
Well, that's why we asked the question because
I'm glad you asked the question though.
if it's serving now, I always ask that because
No.
obviously what's the most, the primary response that's weighted the most heavy
Yes.
is our taxpayer and the residents of Middleton.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
other opinions are welcome.
But
But you don't have to listen.
Getting that information also adds weight to the argument that we service a greater area and if we get the discussions of it.
Doesn't matter.
No, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter, but
Doesn't matter.
it's information that might be useful in the future.
Exactly.
My vote is the last one, number 4.
So
That's it.
instead of doing it that way, could we do it just by saying all capital or not
Yeah.
all capital?
Yep.
And
So-
bold or not bold?
so if everybody wants to pull up this page,
Because I don't know which one number.
Oh, I will say, just so you know,
it's the one that shows the.
I'm not, it's not bolded and unbolded. It
It's
is
two
font
different
types.
fonts.
Yeah,
One
one's
is
blocky and
the
one's.
one
Result.
is the spark.
One's
Do you
big.
have this up,
Correct.
Counselor Stoll?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just
Okay,
one.
I'll go
Oh,
bigger.
I don't have that much.
Bigger small, yeah.
Just gotta keep going.
So,
Like at the bottom.
so to try to facilitate this,
Okay.
and Sarah needs to write this motion out too.
Mhm.
So I guess hands up for those that want to see the heart at the front. So 4 to 6, so I would say that's the
That's
winner.
Okay.
And then we'll get a motion on the floor, and if you
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
wanna turn it down and,
Right.
but just to try to help. So then as far as uppercase or lowercase, who prefers uppercase? 2, so lowercase seems to be the winner.
Put it wrong.
We'll get a motion on the floor and then we'll.
So arm wrestle
I'll
later.
have to vote against the logo motion?
And then there are 2 fonts presented, so if we're going with lowercase, it would be option 1 that we are talking about,
Yep.
or option 2.
Whatever
for
one,
font.
What's the 2 for me?
is 2 the bigger one?
No, 1 is the bigger one.
One's-
1 is the more bold one.
I don't have any numbers on.
Yeah,
it.
but look at the end.
They should-
You haven't gone far
Yeah,
enough,
way down,
Dan.
like 10 pages down.
You gotta go all the way down.
So. the
No, you're not.
Look,
No, you gotta go further down.
Well, why would we do one again though?
'Cause it's the
Well, I'm not.
Yeah, but look
I
at the
like-
end.
I like option 4
Me too.
because
So.
it's the bigger font, but it not.
I like the. But
Huh?
everybody else likes-
Yeah,
It does, it looks cleaner.
I'm waiting to get my turn.
Okay, so does everybody have that? We've got it.
All right, so,
So we've already said heart at the front, which all of those do have.
yeah,
We've said lowercase, so then that leaves us between the choice of the 2 fonts and option 1 and option 2. Option 1 font is slightly more bold than option 2.
Okay.
And the only thing I would say, Gina, is if we choose option 1, perhaps we can make Town of and Heart of the Valley a little bit bigger.
Oh, yeah, and we can adjust the size
So it
of the
looks more like
placement
two.
slightly,
Well,
but
yes.
just for the purposes of
Excuse
just
me, hold on.
approving something.
Yes.
This is what's there.
But can you change the M?
I'd like to say something.
Sure.
Change the M to.
I would like to say, I like option 4.
I do too.
Oh.
Or no, 3. 3 was
I
my
like
choice,
3.
but
The M's
So
are
there you
different.
go.
One looks like.
The
a dash
only
sign
reason-
down on
Yeah,
the right.
one's gonna mango versus,
The only reason I say option 4
Yes.
is because it's cleaner. Like I just find that the Middleton is too thick. I know that probably is proper.
We're a thick bunch.
Yeah, we are. But I just,
I prefer option 4 as well.
yeah,
They're all pretty good. We're splitting hairs at a certain.
well, we certainly are.
Yeah, but no,
But I like number 4.
Only
Noted.
different, but the more you stare, at it, the more you realize there actually is quite a bit of a difference.
Yes.
Between
Yeah.
those.
And it's.
We can do it that way too. If
We
you guys,
know it.
if you
Secret
guys
back-
wanna vote on the options instead of doing, like, I think we're saying the hearts at the front. The
Yeah.
hearts at the front of all those anyways.
Stuff.
About the other.
Yeah,
Okay,
so,
it's on it.
so we could vote on the options if you guys want.
Oh, okay.
What do you?
Here,
want?
your
The
coffee.
options are all there, aren't they?
I didn't make it, but your lovely friend Bernie did. Oh, I mean, Counselor Knapp,
We're off the rails, tonight. We're off the rails.
Okay,
That's the
Mayor,
10
would
minutes.
you like,
Pretty
would
good.
you like to do a vote on
yes,
these
I would.
options?
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta wait till,
Formal vote, but
I
like.
can,
hands
wait,
being-
just wait for Counselor Marshall.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Marshall.
Oh, Deputy Mayor Marshall.
Demoted, Gary. No, I'm still counting.
Okay. Option 1, how many in favor? Option 2, how many in favor? Option 3,
Do I-
option 4. Oh crap,
Can you have more than one choice?
Dang.
no,
You have to
what are you
pick
gonna
one.
do?
Did you vote for any of them? I did.
Okay, so option 2 was the winner with 3 votes.
Who was the
That's
first?
a 3.
Me.
Counselor Marshall,
He was late.
Fournier, and our.
Forfeited his vote. He wasn't here.
I'll be honest, I like them all, so for me, you would take my vote in.
Yeah.
Okay,
No. Oh,
So
okay.
do we wanna go with
Option 2.
as option 2, what
Option
we're,
Looks like.
It's lowercase,
And
so we
are-
have to
and
deal with lowercase.
are we removing the stem and the
Yes.
leaf and
Yes.
the
Yes.
white thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You missed that.
no, I actually like the stem and the thing.
No.
no, that's a no.
I'm fine to be voted down on that, but
It's
I actually like
not
it.
Like I have option 3. I just have one.
Well, but it ties in historically, and
Approve.
there's a
option
continuity
3.
that comes from having used that for 20 or 30 years.
You know what,
The
people won't
option
even
3
notice, listen,
logo
Probably not.
I've
as
seen this thing
presented
forever. I never
in
even noticed there
the
was stem and that
survey
thing on it.
Attached to the.
I still like
Oh,
it's white.
I had to start doing this, I was like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah, I never
comma,
noticed it.
With
I don't
one
remember
change
seeing
being
Yeah.
that the
Yeah.
leaf, stem,
We-
and
What do you call the white thing?
Shine.
It's a
Shine.
shine, that the leaf, stem, and shine be removed from the heart.
Yes.
Now, one thing that I'll just note,
Put a
when you
comma
remove that
after
indigo
leaf.
sort of colored leaf. Is that indigo color something that you would still wanna see as part of like our branding? Because once that's gone, we don't have anything necessarily in like graphics that we would match to that, there'd be no need for that.
Match to what?
Explain that
Right
again.
now, that
You mean-
is
So
indigo,
right
it's a
now-
different color,
so right
it's not
here-
black, it's blue.
So right now, the leaf
Oh,
on the
see.
heart, it's like an indigo sort of.
A navy,
Yeah.
it's like a navy.
It's-
There's only 6 colors, cause I graduated down
Blue.
kindergarten. There's
But
only 6 colors.
it's actually slightly in between blue and purple.
Oh, okay.
I think it's indigo.
But yes, I agree, but, when you pull that off, so right now, for example, when we have a council meeting, we make a graphic for council meetings. We have that indigo color within that graphic that matches to that leaf.
Ah.
Do we still wanna keep using that indigo color as part of our branding, despite it not being?
But we're-
No, I don't think so.
If you have.
No, I
to
don't
print
think that's-
something Out of office, you're gonna get charged for another color.
Not necessarily.
Okay,
With some people you order from, yes, and some not.
okay,
Okay,
Depends.
anyway, I.
so I lost.
So I think we have.
So-
That's the first thing.
So the recording secretary can read the motion as we think it is, but someone will need to move it. If we have the wording correct.
I have that council approved the option 3 logo as presented in the survey attached to the request for decision. With one change being that the leaf, stem, and shine be removed from the heart.
Excuse
Option
us,
2.
it's option 2.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, option 2.
No, I think.
You were trying to.
I'm
She was trying.
I moved that option three.
No, sorry, that was my mistake. I thought
Okay,
it was thinking
option two
one.
logo as presented in the survey attached to the request for decision, with one change being that the leaf stem and shine be removed from the heart.
So I move that we adopt option two and remove the leaf, stem and shine.
I'll second it.
Wait,
Any
what?
more?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
You have a motion
Which-
first, then you discuss it.
Well, yeah.
But I don't know which motion we're on now.
Motion to approve number 2 is the
You
new
said
one.
you said option three.
No, you did that option 2.
Oh, okay.
I said two.
Okay, sorry.
He said
did
three
say two.
before, but he's being good now. so.
I was one that's late.
Okay, so you're confirming what she read.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
It's different.
That's
Yeah.
what I heard. I heard what he was confirming.
okay, so, and you're seconded it.
Okay.
Would we like to discuss this anymore?
No,
I prefer
Oh.
option three.
you've been defeated, so
You've
it's
been
option
defeated.
two.
I like the stem.
I've been
but other than that, I'm
defeated,
happy.
so. This is the democracy.
Questions?
All those in favor,
Aye.
all those against. Motion carried.
That's one of the things we learned at the conference last week.
When you call question, all discussion ceases.
Yep,
Now,
And
we
it-
got
but
council already
Technically, you're
made
supposed to vote on the question.
Only if there was people at the mic. but
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
there was no mic here.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, that was, thank you
Harder than it is.
very much.
So well.
You didn't know it was gonna cause all this talk. Oh, I don't think it was all that.
Wasn't so easy.
Okay,
peasy.
carry away. Thank you, I appreciate it. All right, now, and this is a really nice one coming up. Our RFD 057 2025, the first reading of our livestock bylaw.
Thank you, Mayor. So, as stated in the background, we have a chapter 232 farm animals and domestic fowl bylaw that was last updated in 1969.
Nice.
So it's quite dated. And since we're in the process of transferring our bylaw enforcement services over to the County of Annapolis, this was one that was highlighted for us to review and potentially update. So as with some other ones we've seen, the suggestion was that we do adopt the counties where possible. So most of it does match the county's bylaw with two major exceptions. Mainly being that we're very urban here, the county's very rural, and obviously livestock is allowed on most every property, I assume, in the county. I don't know the bylaw. But our old bylaw mandated that if anybody wanted to have livestock in town, they had to get a permit from council. So the bylaw basically says that livestock is prohibited in town unless council grants a permit, and roosters are prohibited in town as well. So that's consistent with our previous bylaw. We've just updated the wording to be more modern, I guess I'll say, and in line with the county's bylaw. And then the other change is that the fines have been increased because the 1969 fines are quite low in comparison to what they are now. So that is another change that was made to be consistent with the county. Now, interestingly, the town also has a policy that talks about the keeping of farm animals and fowl, and it basically says that if anybody is requesting to keep farm animals in town, they have to have signatures of adjacent neighbors to support their application. So what we did was we already had a permit application form, and we just modified it a little bit to basically say that with their application, they have to provide signatures from adjacent neighbors. And that permit application is not part of the bylaw or the policy. It's just an internal document that we can update as needed and make it more clear if needed. So the actual bylaw itself is just a few pages long. And where it differs from the county's bylaw is the writing in red is not in the county's bylaw, but it is in this draft bylaw for the town based on our previous rules around our old bylaw. So in general, not much is changing other than we're bringing the bylaw into a readable format, in my opinion, because the other format wasn't super readable. And bringing it in the same format as our other bylaws and making it consistent where possible with the counties. But the rules are staying basically the same. And I think that's it. I've attached the policy, which is like 3 sentences, attached the old application form, the old bylaw, which is very short, and then the new bylaw and new proposed form. Not at all.
I'll move the council give first reading to chapter 62, the livestock bylaw.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Yes, definitely.
And just a question, I may have missed this, but currently people that have domestic fowl that have gone through this process before, letters from their neighbors, they're just granted.
Yeah.
Okay, nothing changes.
Yes.
Thank you.
I believe it says somewhere in there that we're not gonna ask people to come back, and it's on the application form, I think.
I know in the past, we've discussed this before and people had to bring in the letters from their 5 neighbors or agreed to, so I didn't want them to have to go through that whole process again. Thank you for that.
Oh, it says in the application form, permits renew automatically unless there are complaints from neighboring residents or if the permit holders fail to comply with the livestock bylaw.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Yes, sir.
Councilman Knapp was ahead of me too.
Okay.
My only question is the rooster not allowed? Because it grows?
The noise,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a noise.
Yeah.
Okay.
He could drop by for a visit. But he can't see over it.
Counselor Ashford.
I actually had a question from a resident on this. He's looking to get into beekeeping and he's wondering how, independent of this, he was wondering what our policies were for beekeeping. And it's not mentioned in here. You know, there's various different provincial regulations on beekeeping. You've got to be licensed and all this kind of stuff, that kind of thing. Does this apply to beekeepers? And Okay.
No, it's livestock.
Yeah, so live.
yeah, and that's what I was clarifying.
Yeah, so on the definition section on page 1, livestock is defined. And it's not, bees are not included in there.
How much you can get a saddle on it?
We brand them.
This is gonna go back.
A saddle on a rabbit?
Probably.
Well, I didn't know what that word was. That.
And
Sure.
I have a second follow-up on that. Is there a time in terms of temporary, for example, temporary, if you're housing an animal temporarily? A good example is there are quite a few properties in the area within Middleton that have actually quite a bit of land associated with them. Are set up for like horses, for example. I know with the wildfires, some people were relocating temporarily. If you're going to temporarily relocate an animal, as long as it's contained properly, is there a time limit type thing? Like they say, okay, you can have it down to your property.
There's not, this is for permanent resident,
So,
livestock residents.
and again, it'd be one of those things, you're going on vacation and you want somebody to look after your chickens or something like that for you, and you drop your rabbits or whatever at your grandmother's place, and she looks after them for a week or two, and then you pick them up and.
I don't think we need to police that.
No, but I'm just asking for clarity.
If there was a complaint, then the bylaw enforcement officers would have to go investigate, and if the person says, yes, I have my rabbit with me because I'm house sitting, I
Yeah.
don't know what they would say in all honesty.
Yeah.
But if it's not a permanent,
It's not
like, they're
permanent.
not permanently staying there,
Okay,
then I think that's what this is trying to address.
Yeah.
Is permanent animal residence.
perfect.
So. We're gonna regret this.
You are. So you
You
probably.
got me curious about these bees.
Oh
Are the provincial regulations have setbacks and other types of regulations that
No,
you don't have to get involved in? Because I really don't want a bunch of bees next door to me.
no, there's nothing like that. There's, basically, you're not allowed to kill bees. That's part of it type
I
thing.
get that.
Um,
I just wanna know whether we've just opened up Littleton to have beekeepers
Yeah.
all over town.
people, I know a guy in Wolfville's got about 15 hives on his property kind of thing. right?
In downtown Wolfville.
It would be like, in Ravenwood suburb subdivision kind of thing, like that kind of a thing. He's kitty corner type thing. Most beekeepers, actually, there's a code of conduct with beekeepers that you would talk to your neighbors if we're doing that. Kind of thing, but, yeah, there's.
Question?
What?
Question.
Oh. Yes,
There.
all those in favor,
I,
all those against? Motion carried.
I just wanna say, I think we need to visit that aspect.
and there are a number of ways to address it, going to like, top bar hives or top open hives to minimize, bee agitation, limiting number of hives, orientating hives, putting, hedges around hives, so that all of which would mitigate these basic, if you're more than 20 feet away from a beehive, they're not gonna bother you.
6.4 RFD 064/2025 Reservoir temporary boring resolution.
Thank you, Mayor. And I did take an action down to find out about the bees, counselors.
Thank you.
So this temporary boring resolution is for our reservoir. I think the RFD explains it pretty well, but basically, we only have so much money for the reservoir and the rest was approved by the UARB, approved by council to be funded via a long-term debenture through Municipal Finance Corp. But we cannot get a debenture until the project is completed. So there was a fall debenture, but we can't participate because it's not completed. There will be a spring debenture. It would have to be completed in order to get our funding. And we need basically bridge financing to get us through the completion of the project to participating in a debenture. So there is a whole process around that, which is outlined in the RFD. And this is the first step of that, is that we need council to approve a temporary boring resolution. So it is attached there, and staff are noting in the financial implication section that we probably don't need the full amount, but there are certain rules and restrictions around temporary boring resolutions, and we can't go back and increase it if we need to. So given that the project's not completely done and we don't know what else may happen, staff are recommending that we go with the maximum dollar amount that the UARB approved, which was the 2.2 million. And if we need less, then we just don't need to use it. But if we ask for less and need more, we're in a bind.
I'll move the town council authorize and approve the attached temporary borrowing resolution in the amount of $2,251,000, $51,191.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Okay, so, reports, manager reports.
So now we have 6.5 and 6.6.
Oh, sorry,
Sorry. B's got it.
it's 6.5, January 5th, 2026, committee of the whole meeting.
Thank you. There's no documentation with this agenda item. But typically we like to bring this up in November, or December and ask council what their wishes are for the January meetings. So per our policy, the town office is closed between Christmas and New Year's. And staff did opt to take the Friday, January 2nd as a vacation day as well. So we will be coming back as the first day in the office on January 5th. And I don't expect that we're gonna have a package ready and have documents ready for committee of the whole meeting. So the last few years, I believe the decision was to not have a committee of the whole meeting in January, and we just had a council meeting. alternatively, we could have a committee of the whole meeting on the 12th and council on the 19th, or we could have committee of the whole on the 12th, move council to the 26th, or the same as past years, just have council on the 19th and no committee of the whole.
Any idea at this point how heavy it might be?
No, but December will probably have a fair amount of things on that agenda. We've got some policies that we need to update that we're gonna try to get a few things through in December. But no, typically January is relatively small agenda.
We just having a council meeting, we think we can have everything done.
I agree.
Works for me.
Okay, so staff will take an action to we'll we'll update your guys' council calendar and the calendar on the website, and we will not have a committee of the whole meeting on Monday, January 5th, but we will have a council meeting on Monday, January 19th.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
And 2025-26 capital projects update.
Thank you. So this is the capital projects update that we bring to council each meeting. So council has an idea of where we're at with projects. I don't have anything specific to point out, but if there's any questions, I'm happy to take questions.
Councillor Smith,
I was just wondering if we have a completion estimated deadline for the reservoir.
I sat in on the reservoir meeting last week for the first time in a long time with all the project managers at Roscoe and Aquastore and CBCL. And things seem to be going according to plan. I think the tank is done, but they have to do some testing and do the connections. And finish some things in the building. So the original contract said that it would be done by the end of November, I think, and I think they're gonna be very close to that. They might be 1 or 2 weeks off, but they're really close. Per our grant, it's the end of March that we have to have things absolutely done by.
I was
So-
just worried about whether closing them down if they're still got serious things to do. If they're just dotting i's and crossing t's, that's cool.
Yeah.
So when you say the end of November, but you need to be online then, or the project will be structure will be complete?
They're supposed to have it all converted over, is my
So we'll be
understanding.
using it.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Okay.
It's probably not gonna be the end of November. I think it's like a week or 2 off. But because there was some delays back in June or July when we saw the tank sitting at the border. There was just some delays in Aquastore staff being available to come from, I think, Ontario to here because they were the ones that had to assemble. So, but I think basically they're roughly on schedule. So the last piece of that project, which I did get approval for, from the province, I don't think I've briefed council on that, but I did not include the decommissioning of the old reservoir as part of the project in the grant submission. So in the latest, update for the grant, I requested a change in scope to add it and they approved it. So, because the tender came in a little bit lower than what we were awarded via the grant, so by the time you add on the decommissioning of the old reservoir, we have enough money to do that with the leftover funds. So,
And what are the requirements for the decommissioning? Who decides that? And what's the
that's
time
not an Ashley question
Okay.
that I can answer,
Okay.
but I can have Adam at the next meeting and if council wants, at either the December committee of the whole or December council meeting, I can have CBCL perhaps, because they're our project manager, can have CBCL provide like a 1-page briefing if you guys would like on kind of the status and what the next steps are. If you're
Yeah, that'd be
interested,
I think the public are interested.
Yeah.
I can do that.
I know when we brought the sewage treatment plant online, council was able to go over and see how it operated.
Yep,
So
we will do
it
that
would be
as
nice
well.
For us to get eyes on
A
the
tour.
understanding. Yeah, good. Sure, it's more complicated than water and tank.
Bring goldfish.
Well, there's a whole building there too, so. Obviously operates without. So. Hello. Okay.
Unless there's
No
other
more questions? Okay. So as I jumped ahead before, 7.1 to 7.6 are all the reports from everybody. Joint Police Advisory Board, Mayor's report, audit report, any of those that those any questions about or?
The only one I had was, on CBC radio this morning, the Annapolis County Regional Library is having some financial difficulties, so just wondering if there was anything brought up to.
If I may.
Sure.
The CAOs have been having a few meetings on this. I actually had one as recent as today, with some of the other CAOs. So we are aware, so, Julia Merritt, she's the CEO of Annapolis Valley Regional Libraries. She's come in multiple times over the past few years and presented. She's presented at our joint council meeting. And I think I included a letter on the last package, from the libraries, kind of indicating that their financial struggles are imminent, and they're not sure what the impacts are gonna look like as far as service disruptions or potential branch closures. We're not sure. So the library agreement that's in place, the province provides partial funding, municipalities provide partial funding. Plus, in a lot of cases, we, the municipal units, are also responsible for providing a building for the libraries and maintaining the building. Some municipalities choose to rent space and pay the rental. In our case, we own the building and pay for the janitorial and the snow removal and the lights and the electricity and the phones and all that stuff. And then the library board itself pays for the staff and the operations of the library. So we are aware, I'll try to keep council up to date as I know more, but right now we don't really know what's going to happen with it.
But the public should be made aware that this is really coming down to a 5-year-old funding model from the province that hasn't included any kind of increases for salaries or other operational costs. And I believe it's still sitting on some deputy minister's desk somewhere, the new model or the new agreement. So until they make a decision as to what they're going to do to increase the funds, this isn't really a municipal problem. This is a provincial government problem.
It's probably both at this point, because I think if the province doesn't provide additional funding at the end of the day, the next person that the library or the next organization that the library is gonna ask is probably gonna be us. So, until we kind of know what is going on funding wise from the province and what the library board is proposing for our region, because each region in the province has their own board. So we have the Annapolis Valley Regional Library Board. I'm not really sure, like, I can't really speculate what might happen, but
Fair enough.
we're gonna have to have some meetings probably with them and with the province and figure out path forward.
Well, budget discussions will be coming up in a couple of months, I'm sure, so they better make some decisions sooner rather than later if they expect any additional funding from us.
Yep, and they have reached out to the CAOs, so Julia has recently sent out an email to the CAOs wondering how to go about asking for increased municipal funds.
And I have no doubt that
For our budget process.
I have
purposes.
no doubt that the library association and the municipalities are doing their part. But the province needs to make some contributions.
Anyways, that's all I know about that.
Okay.
For right
Okay.
now.
That's good, thank you.
John.
Just a comment on the Valley Wren. It was an impressive piece of work, just 9 pages. to effectively say they don't do anything in Middleton because Middleton doesn't ask them to, is effectively what it comes down to. Great piece of English literature that was.
Can I comment on that before you continue? Because I have a note on that as well.
Yeah.
I wonder if we, as a communications person or something from the town, shouldn't do a survey to our own business community to ask them if they are using the services of the REN, more specifically, the business retention and expansion component of the REN. Instead of waiting for the REN to tell us, this is what we're doing in your community, let's ask our community members, what is the REN doing for them? Because we're just the middleman in this. We're signing off on, this is our piece to do, what am I trying to say?
Economic development.
Economic development. But it's really a relationship that we've forced between the business community and this regional enterprise network. So maybe we should ask our people, what are you getting out of it? Are you getting anything out of it? And then we have a better understanding of whether that's a place that we need to be spending our economic development dollars.
My thought on it when reading through that is it's like having a Disney Plus subscription, but your family doesn't watch it. So what are we paying for? Type thing, right? You know, if you're not going to use it, and maybe we will turn around and use it in the future. If we're going to continue paying the 12,000, which is $1,000 a month, we should do something with it, kind of thing. But I think your idea of asking the business community, are they even aware of it, let alone using it? Would
If that's what council wants us to do, we certainly can. Recognizing that, like with every survey we put out, we don't get 100% responses, so there is always the chance that we could put the survey out and even try to ping some of the businesses, but some that use it might not respond, which could skew the results.
Sure, but it's information one way or the other.
We got the business costumes for Halloween, there's 17 entries, so there is some momentum there for people that are interested, so.
And there's well over 60 or 70 businesses in town type thing, so, yeah.
It may require more of a knocking on doors and physically handing them something instead of trying to access them through a digital process. That can be done in an afternoon. Really, it's not that complicated.
Like, take a survey to them.
That
You
is my,
go and sit down and, talk to them.
that is my experience when dealing with businesses previously with MAPAs. You have to physically go and talk to them. They're happy to talk to you, but they don't respond to emails or.
No. And if we want a real good idea of what people are thinking, and if they are or not.
Mhm.
then
Yeah, and I'm not
that's-
saying conduct interviews with each individual business, but a well-worded cover letter along with some strategic questions around.
Yeah.
This is our attempt to give you some economic development tools. Are you aware? Are you using them? What could they be better? What could they do worse? Whatever. And we're doing our part, I think, to satisfy a big hole in this part of our budgetary plan.
And would council be okay with that getting done like at least sometime before the draft one of the budget? Like, is this a priority for the month of December, or
This is.
as long as it's done before our draft one budgets before?
yeah.
I think the
Can't
question
expect
is going to
anybody.
come up at budget time about whether that $12,000
Is
is
worth it.
a reasonable. It's being spent reasonably. And this will give us some ammunition, information as to help answer that question. Not meaning to steal your.
No, that's, you said pretty much everything I want to say about that.
Anything about the reports? Yes, again,
I just have three left, sorry.
okay.
Director of Finance hiring, are we getting anywhere with that?
We are getting closer through the recruitment process, yes.
Nothing anticipated in the nearest of futures?
Can't say for sure, but I'm hopeful.
Okay. I noticed in an issue section of Public Works that they're understaffed. I think we understand that we have a member not with us at the moment. Are we replacing that person?
We are, so we did get final word, last week actually, that the staff member in question, was going to be off for a longer period of time. And in anticipation of that, Adam and I had already met with the union about next steps forward so that we aren't down a person for going into winter for snow removal, etc. So we did put out a job ad about a month ago.
That's the loader operator
Yeah,
one? I
The,
didn't know
the
about-
laborer equipment operator,
So-
it's more of a laborer job,
Okay.
obviously, but, so we have interviews scheduled for this week. So we are hoping to
So that ad is to replace the existing staff, cause I thought sometimes,
temporarily, yes.
cause I also thought we would sometimes hire an extra person over the snow removal season as well, no?
During the summer.
Alright.
Not since I've been here, we haven't done that.
Okay.
So we have done our best to try to be as proactive as possible to ensure we aren't short-staffed going into the winter, so. Like you said, that job ad was owed, we screened as soon as we found out last week that there was a specified time, that the person was going to be
Right.
off. We screened everybody immediately, well, Adam was actually screening as they were coming in,
Yes.
but we selected some and are trying to, we've coordinated some interviews this week, and I think Sarah still needs to hear back from some.
Perfect.
So we're hoping that sometime in December, someone will be here to help out.
I just have one more. In our strategic initiatives. The number one, not necessarily the most important, but the number one was perform an assessment of policing services within the town of Middleton. With the update being staff to investigate options for the assessment, considering the new policing standards just announced by the province. Are we starting to work on a plan to move on this particular initiative?
So the mayor and I had a meeting with the Department of Justice and the DOJ. And what stemmed out of that was that I have a meeting tomorrow with the RCMP to chat. That's not necessarily related to the assessment piece of that, but just about improved policing in the town. And I would say that we probably need to consider in the budget process that's coming up, some funding for a consultant to do an assessment. Because I'm not sure that's something we can do in-house, time-wise and, subject matter expert-wise. So I think that, but I also don't want to waste our time, not that it's a waste of time, but I also don't want to waste someone's time doing an assessment when the province could change the policing standards. Like we could engage somebody to give us some options based on how things stand right now, but then if something changes, we're gonna potentially be pivoting. But we could certainly engage someone in the new budget process with how the standards are worded right now. That person would have to obviously, as part of their consulting report, liaise with the province, liaise with the RCMP, liaise with other municipal units that have town police forces, and make some recommendations for the town of Middleton.
And I respect all of that. The reason I bring it up is that we're already ending year one of our 4-year mandate here. This was a consensus issue. We campaigned on it. We all agree that it's the most important thing, I think. Are we going to lose it because the province is gonna take 2 years to get standards out? And we're really not gonna have enough measuring sticks to be able to then determine what our policing situation is and how we're going to improve it.
Yeah, the policing standards definitely throw a bit of a change, or
Yeah,
whatever word you want to use, into what I think we were hoping to accomplish with this strategic initiative. But I think we just need to make some assumptions and go with what we know at the time and have a consultant do a report, knowing that it might have to be changed if provincial standards change.
Yes, Stephanie.
I had mentioned to the mayor and CAO that, there's someone locally that, in my opinion, is a subject matter expert on community-based policing. And I mentioned to both mayor and CAO that perhaps that person could be invited to talk about community-based policing. Maybe at our December committee of the whole meeting. So I just want to put that out there, and I think that would be a start in the right direction. At least for us to have an understanding of what we perceive and what we expect and what the understanding of community-based policing is. So I certainly hope that we can add that to the agenda. Hopefully that person's available. And I hope that he was going to attend the police advisory board meeting, but I'm not sure, not able to. So I was hoping he'd make a connection with the CAO, but we should probably reach out to, and I think that he'd be willing, more than happy to do a presentation to council.
Perfect. I just don't want us to swim in circles because we're waiting for the province to do something.
Great.
Agree.
Yes, Councillor.
I just had some thoughts about the SAP, coming out of our last, joint police advisory meeting. And that goes together with a resident that came to talk to me just before that. And, he talked about policing and talked about taxes, he talked about a number of things, but one of the things he said was that we needed police, we need more presence. So my question to him was, what does that mean? Like, what does that look like for you? Because I might see them, but you might not be looking at the same time and that's may not see them. So what is presence gonna mean? Like, if we, advocate for that and we try to change things around so that we can work towards that, how are we gonna know that we've achieved that? And, Staff Sergeant Maxwell was saying that our statistics are better, it looks like things are happening, there's more presence. But if people don't feel safe, it doesn't matter what the numbers say. It doesn't matter that they can produce and document and give it to us. So I just thought it would be something that we all could try to keep in mind, what is presence and how are we going to talk to people about how they're feeling, not just the numbers. Whether or
So
not
what
they
did
feel
this
safe.
resident identify as presence being?
He doesn't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. So that was why I was thinking, well, we could work around and run around in circles, but he still might not feel safe. So how are we gonna know what that looks like?
Right,
Just a thought.
so.
And
Yes.
Again, I think that would probably go back to this, subject matter expert on community-based policing to help. That was one of the questions I had.
Yeah, what does that?
But I think that hopefully, he might.
Yeah, hopefully we can, yeah. That would be good. Anybody else? Anything else? Okay. So, anything by members? Councillor Fournier.
That was it.
I think you got more to report on than that.
Sorry.
I think you got something more to say than that. I don't wanna lead you.
I'll lead you. You were at a conference for 3 days. You must have something to say about it.
Oh, okay. A while ago, gee, was that just last week?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Was, really, pleased to be able to make contact with a number of different ministers and people that I met since starting the council and stuff. I'm sorry, I feel like there's a question I'm supposed to answer, I'm not sure. the question was.
No, did you enjoy it?
Absolutely, yeah, I like the network.
Was there anything that you learned that could benefit us? Anything like any of the workshops or presentations you attended to that you can relate to us that weren't there?
I have to admit, I didn't come prepared to speak to that.
Oh.
I should have.
Okay. Councillor Knapp.
Just have one thing, I attended the Remembrance Day service at the community college. Was pleased to see some of the other council members there, and it was very, very well attended, like it was. I must say, it was a beautiful service.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
And Deputy Mayor. I
I
spent a
just
lot
had
of
a
time
couple
with for the last few days.
Well, we spent a fair amount of time together, you were
Yes.
for a whole lot of reasons. But I just have a couple of things.
Yeah.
One of the things actually turns out to be in some of the reports, but the Clean Foundation, through our intermunicipal working group meeting, They are holding a public engagement session on Thursday, November the 27th at NSCC. And it's a technical workshop, and so all of our municipal partners, we are part of that. So our meeting in our area is held, it's from 6 to 8 at the NSCC in Middleton here. And they would encourage, some municipal representatives to attend if they can. And if Thursday doesn't work out for you, we're gonna hop over to Black Friday, which is November the 28th. Then the town of Middleton, we're having our holiday parade and tree lighting. And I'm sure our recreation department would love to see some of our counselors, not all of them attend that and be in the parade. But that begins at 6:30 from NSCC, so if you can't attend Thursday night, maybe you can attend Friday night. But that's all I have for you.
Or you can attend both,
Or you can attend both.
not an either or.
Well, that's correct. So we invite all counselors if they can to the public engagement session at 6 to 8 at the NSCC on Thursday, November 27th. And then our town sponsored holiday parade and tree lighting begins at 6:30 from NSCC and comes down through town and ends at Centennial Park. That begins at 6:30,
Begins
so
at
I would say be at NSCC for 6. But further details about that, you can reach out to our impal person in recreation police affect.
Yes.
That's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Counselor Smith.
So I too did attend the fall Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities Conference and knowing that we're supposed to bring back information to hopefully impart some wisdom to the rest of us here that didn't go. I'll try to keep this to 5 minutes or so. But there's a lot of good things happening. The conference itself was kind of disappointing in that who wasn't there, and the most obvious one was the premier wasn't there. I thought that was his first opportunity, real opportunity this year to meet with all 49 municipalities that in the same room, and for him not to be there was very, very disappointing. He did send a representative, John McDonald, Minister of Municipal Affairs, and only been in the job 2 weeks. So he didn't have a lot to offer, in my opinion, as well. The panel that we had on day 2 wasn't, our day on Thursday wasn't much better, really, because all they said, yes, we'll take that under advisement, and we need to do more communication with the municipality. So if you didn't know 20 years ago that you need to do more communication with the municipality, nothing's gonna change today. Emerging issues was one of the things that they did highlight here, and of course, I'm gonna read you a quick list of what they identified as emerging issues, and I want you to, with a quiz here, tell me what's missing. So the emerging issues were fire services, transportation, municipal governance, land use planning, Wind West, advisory committees, critical minerals and resources, policing, Traffic Safety Act, Municipal Code of Conduct, and climate resilience. Anybody? Apparently, healthcare has been fixed in this problem, because there was nobody from the health department there, and it was not mentioned as one of the critical issues in this problem. Which is a huge oversight in my opinion, because I don't think healthcare has been fixed by a long time.
No,
They've just moved on to other topics.
that's right.
We did get to hear from both Claudia Chender and Derek Mombriket. They had fireside chats. Easy positions for them, because all they have to do is say, well, the province isn't doing this and the province isn't doing that, and we would do it if we could. And their strong message on both of them was we would engage the municipalities more in their decision making. There was supposed to be, or maybe I misunderstood, there was a policing section to this whole thing, but it was really about governance and oversight in Nova Scotia policing. So they had a couple of organizations like the Nova Scotia Association of Police Governance. And there was another one as well and they just talked about how the complaint process worked as far as of what you do if you're unhappy with a particular incident that you had with the police, not if a municipality is upset with the police. So I found that completely waste of time as well from a municipal standpoint. We did have some interesting success stories, both including Lunenburg, Inverness, and the town of Glasgow all talked about some things that are going well in their communities. Lunenburg went through talked about some public engagement processes that they did, weekly chats. They had a booth at the local expo or farmers markets. Inverness is in keeping this newspaper, and it's in print still, as well as a digitalized version called the Participator. But they've had it going on now for over 25 years or more. And everybody loves it, looks forward to it, comes out, I think, once a month.
I think it was 100 years.
Has it been that
Like
long?
Yeah, I think it's been-
19.
Okay,
Yeah.
my apologies, I didn't write that part down, but it's been going a long, long time, and the
Yeah.
people, the Inverness community love.
Yeah.
Of course, Inverness is a population of 20,000 people or so, so.
Yeah.
It's a different base than what we have here. And then the town of New Glasgow talked about a human rights, issue that they've been dealing with there, and how their mayor and municipal community have really engaged with some of the less advantaged individuals within their community and making them feel part of the community. I think that's a lesson that all of us can take from as well. The real fun and games was at the AGM on Thursday afternoon, and they had two bylaws that they wanted to, bring in, one being that they wanted to have it so that they didn't have to have any support staff in the room during board meetings. Means none of the mayors would have their CAOs or finance directors or whatever in the room. I think they thought that might get slid right through, no problem. But there was an incredible amount of discussion and going back and forth, which is where this question thing came up earlier. So
Yeah.
people got fed up, and apparently if you say question, they're supposed to stop talking and call the question, unless there's still people at the microphones waiting to speak, in which case you then have to have a vote to whether we're gonna allow the people
Yeah.
at the microphones to speak or not, and we did, so that all got defeated, and then they got to talk some more, and then somebody called the question, and then we finally voted on the whole thing, and it got defeated because they needed 2/3 of the vote to actually pass. So then they moved on,
Can
sorry.
I just interject that it was actually so chaotic in my mind that I actually thought I was voting to vote no, like it was very confusing. It was just murky, it was just crazy.
Might have been a little murky, but
And then part two of that, the other bylaw adjustment that they wanted to do was getting rid of a representative from AMANS, or Municipal Administrator Group. They didn't want them on the board anymore because we don't have one on their board, what seemed to be the more boiled down version. It was all very childish as far as I was concerned, and again, it blew way out of proportion. Lots of speaking, lots of questions and still speakers and all of this stuff. We ran an extra hour just dealing with these two bylaw things and not a thing changed.
no,
So it was interesting conversation, but it didn't change the sign.
no.
Sorry, I missed it.
Oh,
It
it
was,
was interesting.
it was an interesting exercise in board politics.
Yeah.
And how these meetings all run, that's for sure. Just before that, we had an environment and climate change, panel. Mostly coastal climate action plan and things like that didn't really relate to us unless we count the Annapolis River, and nobody really talked about the inland coastal erosion type thing, so this seems, or inland erosion things. So it seemed to be more geared towards that. They are trying to streamline the industrial approval process, they say, and temporary food permits are going to be 1 page instead of 4. And in multiple languages, which I thought was quite interesting, which is a nod towards our growing our population coming from outside the border, so. And then the last thing I attended was, this was actually a split session, and most of them went to talk about, legal stuff, but CAO and I stayed for the guaranteed minimum income discussion. It's a concept that's been around forever, as far as everybody should have a base amount of income regardless of whether they work or not, and, I have some issues with that. However, the interesting thing of this was 2 days after we got back from the conference, somebody at the federal level just put some money aside to study the issue again, and they've studied it 4 or 5 times in the last 20 years. So it's not as out there as some of us might think it is, when the feds are still gonna look at it and decide whether they want to do something with them. So it was a good conference. We met a lot of people. We learned or reaffirmed that all these small communities are experiencing the exact same things that we're experiencing, but there's no discussion on policing, which was very, very disappointing. Zero. I don't think the word healthcare was even
No.
mentioned in the 2 days that we were there. Which was also disappointing, but I think it was well worth it.
Can I understand?
Sure.
So the Inverness paper, it's just a newspaper from the Inverness thing, is that
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So
Just
we
a-
have a Bridgetown reader that is put out to all the stores here.
This one is driven through the municipality though. This,
Okay.
the reader is a commercial enterprise.
Right.
Right? And anybody can put anything in it and advertise and
Right.
and all that type of stuff. This comes out more from, this is driven from the municipality itself.
Recreation.
Recreation is a big part,
Okay.
yeah, the rec department does it. And it talks about stuff that's happening. It's really like our old newspaper.
Like
that
a
we used to
Mirror
have.
or
The Mirror
Oakville,
Examiner.
The
whatever.
Mirror Examiner and all of that.
Okay.
Yeah,
But it was nice.
they mail out 5,000 copies of that.
I think they still mail out 5,000 copies and they've created a digitalized version of it in the last
Yeah.
10-15 years or something like that. And
Exactly.
they've had some long time contributors doing particular articles or
Yeah.
pieces on it as well, and photography and things like that.
Next.
Yeah,
Councilor Troll.
I too attended the conference and it was very interesting, actually. One of the guest speakers was Tarika Aziz from Peace by Chocolate, who gave a really impressive speech. That was worth driving down there for, just to listen to him speak.
very passionate story.
Well, and
Yeah.
part of what he said and talked about in terms of being, he's very proud Nova Scotian, very proud to be Canadian, actually, it's really inspiring. But the aspect of welcoming, and that is and making ourselves a welcoming community as part of our strategic plan, and the effect that has, him being welcomed into Antigonish, feeling welcome, making that his home, being able to bring his family there, and they are now the #1 employer in Antigonish. Number 2, sorry. He's catching up quick. So yeah, it was really an inspiring thing. The other thing I noted was, I can't remember the guy's title. I'm gonna say he's the great grand poobah CAOs. He's not that, but he's the head bureaucrat for the Nova Scotia government in charge of all other bureaucrats there that was talking about. Yeah, executive, whatever it is. He gave an interesting speech, and he was talking about budget constraints and the next thing. Basically, everybody's facing budget constraints, and the only way out of this is really to grow, whether it's the provincial stuff, to grow the provincial economy, but also grow municipal economies was part of the message too, type thing. So as one of my pet bugbears, economic development, I think, does need to be brought forward in the next year or so to kind of start making some push forward on that, especially if we start dealing with the rent and figuring out where we're going up or down, or what we're gonna do with that. So my 2 cents on that.
If I could just add to what Councillor Archibald said, this Tariq Habib fellow had 2 interesting quotes, or mottos or mantras. Be successful and be significant was one of the things that he operates by. When you think about that, that's pretty powerful. Consistency is more important than intensity. So I'll throw those out there as well. And find his book, Peace by Chocolate.
Mhm.
It's a movie now, apparently. I've
Yeah,
seen the
apparently
movie,
it's a
I'm gonna
movie
try to
now.
find the book. This guy lit up the room. He
Yeah.
was a very engaged individual. I could have listened to him for 3 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. But he didn't bring any free chocolate. That's the only thing.
Yeah. I thought we
Only
would,
thing.
you know, we would have liked that, so. Listen, that's, yes. Well, I don't usually have too much to report, but I too went to the conference and it was eye-opening because I have been before. And there wasn't quite as much excitement during the AGM. It's usually everybody just talks and moves on. We have a new president who is the Doug Mitchell from Dan. Dawn? Dave, oh,
Mayor of Bridgewater.
he's the mayor of Bridgewater. Pam Bood has now She goes down to second vice or whatever,
Past president.
or past. Did I interrupt you? These people go,
What's more important?
okay,
Accuracy?
oh yeah, okay, that's right. Anyway,
Consistency.
Or intense.
consistency, yes.
I can be intense too, if you want.
No, no, we don't
Consistently
need all that.
inaccurate.
We're, so that was interesting, you know, like how they do their thing and the AGM itself with all that went on and people speaking and some people were very passionate of what they believed in and that was, you know. I too, my last session was on legal, which I wasn't all that impressed with. Because I don't think I learned anything that I didn't already know. And they gave examples that had nothing to do with the municipalities.
That was basically, she talked a lot about code of conduct.
Yeah,
She didn't have any, there was nothing else.
no,
that-
and we already had our lecture on code of conduct.
Yeah.
Already at the beginning of the thing. The other thing I did do while I was in the city, on Wednesday night, they have what they call the Mobius Awards, which has to do with, Valley Waste, like the whole province. And, there's awards given out to certain people who have done exceptional things and wow, some of the people, one of them is a chef downtown Halifax. And he goes to all the restaurants around and he brings what's left over from there. And then he brings them into his restaurant and him and his staff make it into something else. And then they deliver food to the people on the street.
Nice.
So that was one, that was like unbelievable. I mean, this guy, he studied in France. Like, he's not just your everyday chef that came from home. But he said, this is what he knew he needed to do. He had to do that. Another one was a lady. I'm not sure where she was from, I forget now, but she goes around and gets all like stuff at the beaches, ropes and glass
Yes,
and
yes.
all that. And she has a little shop downtown Halifax with what the things that she creates with her.
From stuff that's washed up.
Yeah, from stuff that's washed
That's
up.
been on CBC.
Oh, is that right? Okay. So she got an award. Now, I just can't remember the other ones. They did, you know. Oh, and the school in like Scotts Bay or up that way. They have a way of dividing their garbage. And then they take what is good. And like like say the cans, they take those and they pass this. But if nothing was food, but like maybe the container that the food's in. That's something that they could wash and reuse. They use them for little kids painting. Like stuff like that. So anyway, that was very interesting because I've never been to them before. And to see such a variety of people with variety of ideas of what they can do. Because we only think our garbage is garbage. And when you see somebody who has decided that there's other things we can do. So that was mine. Thank you. Is there anything further to bring to the meeting?
Move to adjourn.
Motion carried. That concludes our live streaming of today's meeting. Our next meeting will be the Committee of the Whole meeting on Monday, December 1st, 2025. The agenda package will be posted on town's website on Friday, November 28th. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or ideas that you would like to have addressed during the Anything But Citizens part of the agenda, please submit them to ea@town.middleton.ns.ca by noon on Monday, December 1st. Thank you for watching.